I had this filter app, and I feel like I never use it. So this is me using it now for this video. Hello, MM's Vinyl. Welcome to YouTube.com, featuring Robin Radio, featuring this contest entry into MM Vinyl's channel's contest, vinyl contest, vinyl community. I was told my last upload in the comments section that I'm part of the vinyl community, so that's a thing now. Don't label me. No, I'm kidding. Do what you want. I'm never gonna purposely try to market my stuff to the vinyl community, though basically that's what my content falls under at this point. General music, but I love vinyl and I collect vinyl, and so I post it. At the moment, funds are limited, so collecting is down, but once limit is not down, hopefully I'll be able to add to my collection. Some of the ones I really want at this point in my collecting career, I'm kind of just seeking out ones that are ones that I really want or that I really think are great and I should own on vinyl. Instead of just like, oh, well, here's an artist I enjoy, here's the album, like, here's the artist, like, I want a lot of his stuff, or here's, like, an album from an artist that I think is going to be fantastic music, and so I wanted that, or just cool, or whatever. Anyways, on to the contest. Questions for MM Vinyl. Your first question was jazz, favorite jazz fusion album. Yours was a Santa Ana thing, which, based on your music taste, is completely understandable why that would be your top album in jazz fusion and why you're so into jazz fusion. When I think of jazz, I do not think of Santa Ana's album or jazz fusion albums within that vein. Just simply, jazz is a broad genre. I would say that Santa Ana album is to jazz as Casey Musgrave's most recent album, Golden Hours, is to country music, which is to say both are super large genres, country music and jazz. And sure, it can encapsulate in jazz, but typically when you think of country, like, that's not the first thing that's going to pop into your head. It's certainly more modern, or at this point not more modern, but at that time it was a more modern kind of interpretation of jazz. So I hope you find a ton more within the jazz sphere and find all this great stuff, and not just like Miles Davis and John Coltrane, which is the popular stuff, but also some more deep cuts. As far as my favorite jazz album goes, I'm going to show off Maynard Ferguson, MF Horn, Volume. Well, this is just the first MF Horn. He has 5, I think, 4 or 5. I own all of them. This is my favorite, though, of those, and it's one of my favorite jazz albums in general. Found out about it in junior high when I started in the jazz band, and this was just a really inspiring album for me. I'd say it's jazz fusion, because it's definitely got some, like, rock instruments and stuff in it, and has more elements to that in it. But yeah, it's just like kind of a 60s, 70s era big band stylish type jazz. Anyways, Eli's Comin'. If nothing else, check out that song off this album because it's one of my favorite jazz pieces. It's just such high energy, and I love all the parts. I think the trombones have a great part in it too, and I play trombone, so I love a good trombone part. But Maynard Ferguson, he's awesome. He played with some bigger names, but then he also had a successful solo career, but not as like successful as like a jazz classic artist, not within that vein, but I still love him. And also MacArthur Park is a classic. It's just got so much, like, I think L-Dopa is just like a long, epic jazz song. It goes through so much that I love that one. So that's my favorite jazz album. That's enough about that one, though. Let's move on to your next question, which was blues rock. Favorite blues rock album, or jazz if you don't like blues rock or whatever. I do not collect blues rock. It's a genre that I know you love, and so you know a lot more about it than I would. I do enjoy blues rock. It's just not something I collect. My most listened to, like, on a regular basis, blues rock artist would probably be the Black Keys, and even they're like a popular band within blues rock. And modern, so they may not, I don't know if you'd consider them super blues rock, but I enjoy their music, and I enjoy when I do get to listen to some blues rock, when I do choose to listen to blues rock, rather, but it's just not something I listen to often. But, so I looked on my Discogs catalog to see if I had any in my collection, and I have this one, and it labeled it as blues rock, so we're going with it. It's more like rockabilly, rock and roll music, though rockabilly typically is like super cheesy nowadays, this is not cheesy. It's epic. It's amazing. It's modern, but it's also very classic. The most rockabilly song on here would have to be Bloodhound Rock, but it's like just the one song, and I think it fits well on the album, so I love that one. But this album in general, like, I just love the album as a whole. It was released in 2017 by J.D. McPherson, Undivided Heart and Soul. The cover's great, but just like this song front to back is one that I love. It's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time, just because there are so many songs on here that I just listen to and I'm just like, wow, this is just amazing music. I just feel so awesome right now. My favorite song on here is Under the Spell of City Lights. The second favorite would probably be Hunting for Sugar, but Under the Spell of City Lights is just like, lyrically it's amazing, and musically it just hit a note with me where I just listened to that song. I listened to that song like so much after I decided, I think it was 2 summers ago, to finally listen through to this whole album, and that was an awesome experience. Maybe it was just last summer. I think it was just last summer, but this one is one you should check out. Even though it's not like the most blues rock record, still got some elements in there of blues rock, and if you enjoy rockabilly, rock and roll, then hopefully you will love this album, because I think it's perfect. Almost perfect, not super perfect. Next was a underground record, so Florida Bird Songs. Just kidding. Although that is very underground. That's like for a Stanford, Cornell release. So I don't know how it got to Colorado, where I picked it up at Goodwill, but it got there. But for a more legitimate underground release, we'll go with Marge Snyder with My Lifetime Now, off of the Discovery label, which I believe was a label associated, I looked this up, I think it's a label associated with the Young Life Christian Youth Movement type deal. Anyways, this was actually featured on a compilation by, don't remember the name right now. They do like lots of local like city soul compilations of old soul stuff, but they also they did one where it was like, their logo has a bee in it, by the way. It's like a bee in some note shape. I forget what it's called, but they did one release where it was just folk music from like the 60s, 70s, underground stuff that wasn't like super well known. And Marge Snyder was included on there as the only like Christian artist from that era that was really doing like popular sounding female folk music with a very Christian message in her lyrics. So this was obviously like, not a ton of these were released, but she certainly has a little bit of a following, and I just love the lyrics on this, and the music sounds incredible. It sounds like the music that was released at the time, but definitely her own take on Marge Snyder doing it, and it's awesome. So if you ever find that in the wild, purchase it, and if you want to check it out online, do that too, because the music is worthy of a check out online. And then last but not least was music that always makes you smile when you put it on, something like that. And so I couldn't help but share with you Simple Pleasures, Bobby McFerrin. This is pseudo-jazzy. I found it in the jazz section at my local store. Anyways, if you don't know, Don't Worry, Be Happy. What are you doing? You should know it. It's a 5-time Grammy winner. This album, it includes #1 hit, Don't Worry, Be Happy, and Drive My Car, which is a dope cover of the Beatles song. I think it was a Beatles song. And it's amazing. He's like a vocalist, so it's all like vocal music, but he's just such a joyful dude and a fun guy, and you can't help but smile when listening to Don't Worry, Be Happy. And just throughout the whole album is just a bomb. It's so good. So highly recommend, if you ever find this in the wild, definitely purchase it. And even if you don't find it in the wild, like, listen to it online, because it's just, if you need a pick-me-up, this is a good album, especially just the song Don't Worry, Be Happy, which I'm sure a lot of people know about because it's such a great song. But there's my list, Eminem's vinyl. Thanks for the contest. Be sure to subscribe, people down below, if you want some random music content from every once in a while. At this point, I'm mainly posting these contest videos because there's a possibility of vinyl monies for broke college student, but probably more importantly, B is it gets content pushed onto my channel, so it doesn't look like my channel is dead, even though it may be dead. But it's probably not dead. I'm probably not going to kill it. We're keeping it alive. Thanks to Minvinyl. You're helping to keep my channel alive. That's it for this video. We'll see you when I see you. Robin, hey, have a great rest of your day.